Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gary, welcome to the Sunday Club. Yes, and I know first off I am an hour earlier than usual, but the most British of problems, I've actually got a chicken in the oven that will be done in an hour. So I need to be finished on this to carve it up and get my tea sorted or my dinner sorted for the rest of the week. So another stuff's come up. So I thought I'd jump on an hour earlier and we'd have this chat because I'm excited. Even though England will not be, as we know, in any sort of action over these next few months, the World Cup draw is Friday. So we are less than a week away. So anybody who is new here, anybody who joins the chat later on, if you're watching this later and you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button because Friday after work I will be live streaming the World Cup draw. Well, not actually the World Cup draw, but my reaction to the World Cup draw. I'm sure copyright would absolutely destroy me if I live stream the actual draw, but we'll watch it together. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. And I know last week, it was earlier this week, wasn't it? It was Monday night. I know on Monday night we spoke about what this draw may or may not be. And we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again because this is it. This is the talking point. This is what we've waited for however many weeks, and it's finally within arm's reach. And it's just exciting to see who England may get. And I can't wait. I just cannot wait. Now, let me have a look at the chat because I might have to refresh my chat page here because at the minute... there we go. Stuff's coming through. So, Charlie Kelly, evening. Andrew Joyce, evening. I usually start off with a shout-out to my channel members. Just a reminder for the channel members that I will be doing a quiz. My end-of-year quiz that proved really successful last year and really popular. So I'm bringing that back for the channel members this year. My channel members are currently in the squad. I have Tom Briscoe, Brian Turner, Gate 102 Podcast, Robert Beveridge, Felix, Charlie Kelly, Josh Philp and Kurt Barlow. All absolute legends alongside everybody else who watches and shares this content. So let's get into it. Let's get into tonight. Hope you've all had a good week. It's been an interesting weekend again from a Premier League perspective. There's some good English players coming through. I think there's a few things we'll talk about, but it's the World Cup draw, isn't it? It is the World Cup draw, and we looked last week. I will put up, obviously, as I've been doing over the past number of weeks, the guess the player tonight. I did a quick one before I got on. I think it's going to be easy tonight. I do think it's going to be easy. I don't know if that gives you a clue, actually, for when it comes up. But I think tonight's is an easy one. I thought last week's was a harder one. I think this one is an easier one. I think last week only one person got it right, and I'll have to check back to see who that was. But yeah, I think tonight's easier. But then I'll also bring up the groups again. I had the pots out last week, so I'll bring that graphic back up and we'll just have an open and honest discussion. That's all we're going to talk about this week. I am going to be dropping a video earlier this week about who my current starting 11 is ahead of that World Cup for England, because now I think is a good time to do it at the end of the year, and then I'll redo it again just before the tournament is due to start and see if they have sort of changed. So I think that'll be a good time to drop that video. Let me just quickly go to the chat because, as you know or may not know, I'm really keen on reading out the chat comments. So my Q&A tonight is, should England fear anybody in the group stage? So get involved in the conversation. Hit your comments in the chat. Anybody who's joined these live streams before know it's very much about, the chat getting involved. So please do so. So, Charlie, have you heard that England will not play Spain or Argentina until at least the semis, and we can't play France until the final if we win our group? Yeah, and I think it's absolute nonsense. I am not a fan of it. I believe the draw should be a draw. I don't believe, in all honesty, that there should be any restrictions, really. I think once you qualify, my preference, you all get chucked into a pot and it's drawn, end of. And then you look, and that's what you get. And I think it would make a really exciting tournament. Throughout the whole tournament, because there'd be games that then you could possibly look forward to early on. There'd be some jeopardy for those bigger teams in the group stage. But who am I? Yeah, I'm not FIFA. It'll never do that. They'll never do that, sorry. So we are where we are. We've got to talk about ticket prices tonight. And I'm on this boat because this hits hard, actually, for myself. Because I think, depending on if you are an England fan, and again, everybody's welcome in here tonight, but as an England fan, you could swap this round if you're a fan of France or whatever, wherever you're from, essentially what I'm saying. I think anyone who's joining this live stream, either before or live, or after or live, I think most of our dreams is to see their nation play in a World Cup finals. Now, I was aiming for the US because of the way the cap system works. It takes a number of years. It takes really a number of years to build up your caps, to get enough caps to guarantee a ticket. I think I'm at the point now where I would be guaranteed a ticket if I wanted one, the fan only first. Those that went to Qatar will know that, yes, these are expensive events to go to, but they are within reach. I think it's fair to say that even though nothing 100% official has come out from FIFA regarding the ticket prices, all the smoke and mirrors and all the information coming out from FIFA and surrounding this tournament very clearly shows that even fan first only tickets will be somewhere like £400 or £500 a game, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm on my Twitter timeline. I still call it Twitter. I'm on my Twitter timeline. I can see my YouTube comments. There's fans, a lot of fans that have followed England home and away. So done absolutely every single game over these past 2 or 3 years. Spent a huge amount of money, filled the grounds up when we've got Andorra at home or away, done our bit to support this England team through the qualification round, and then it comes to the tournament and they are completely priced out. And it is just unacceptable. I know America is America. I think this is one huge downside that nobody spoke about up until now. Given the tournament to America and their attitude to sports and capitalism, and I'm not getting into this capitalism. I'm not madly against capitalism by any means, but America is just going to bleed everybody dry. And I guarantee you now, you're going to see empty stadiums. And I guarantee you now, I mean, if people from England are struggling to afford these sorts of games and ticket prices, heaven knows what some of these other nations, how they're going to ever fill these grounds. They're going to be relying on the population that's already probably in America and some other way of them getting tickets, because the amount of money that FIFA and the American Confederation or whatever, because America's very much involved in this, and I am picking out America because they are the hosts, really. Yes, Mexico and Canada have their games, but America's predominantly going to be hosting most teams. It's embarrassing. FIFA are an absolute disgrace, and it's already left a massive sour taste in this tournament. So, like myself, I think many people are literally saying, look, I'm out. I can't go. I cannot afford to go. I'm looking and thinking, right, do I spend an absolute fortune going out to America this time? And I don't mind spending a lot of money, but the difference is comparison to other World Cups, it's just completely unacceptable. And it's just outrageous. I mean, there was some bloke saying that it's going to cost him about £4,000, £4,000 or £5,000 to go and watch the group matches, which is just ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's a state of the game. I'm now thinking, do I wait? Is it Saudi Arabia the next one? Do I wait for Saudi Arabia? I don't know. But it's just not acceptable that fans who have been home and away or been to even all the home games, built the caps up over 2-3 years, built the caps up, and they get to this stage and they're priced out. It's just completely unacceptable, having already spent an absolute fortune. So it is very, very disappointing. I'm still undecided what I want to do. I am a little bit like, even if I can afford it, let's say I can afford it, even if I can afford a one group game or something like that, yes, it ticks it off my bucket list, but do I really want to be lining the pockets of FIFA? Some of you are saying Euro 2028. Get that, I'll definitely be there for that. The difference is, obviously, this is a World Cup, and it's watching England at a major tournament abroad, which are two things that I want to tick off my list. I want to see England at a major tournament. Euro 2028 will scratch that itch. But this World Cup dream, and particularly when they're like 4 years, and then if I'm not going to look at Saudi Arabia, you're looking at 8 years' time. It's just madness. Let me get back to the chat. Now I've had my rant. Maskless, England going to win the World Cup, 2 stars. I hope so, mate. I need to change my logo if it goes to 2 stars. It's the reason why the Channel England football logo only has 1 star on top. So, bit under, yeah. It's going to cause me a problem on my visual stuff if I keep it as 1. Hi, Gary. Going to be some draw. England, Ecuador, Norway, Ghana. Probably worst draw on paper we could get, in my opinion. Yeah, I'd agree. I'm seeing the time as well, so I can see it's 1:45. So, as I'm going through these few comments in the chat, I am going to pop up this week's mystery player. So, as you know, from 2:45 till, well, now it's until 7, but usually would be until 7:45. You guys pop in the chat who you think this player is, and I'll reveal the answer in 15 minutes' time. Hi, Gary. Rice is just a phenomenon. I don't fear anyone. We've got the best squad in the world. I'll be honest with you, I don't fear anyone. I certainly don't fear anyone who we could potentially draw in the groups. Absolutely right. The fact that we can't play Spain or Argentina until the semi-final and France until the final is a huge bonus and will help us. 100% it will. 100% it will help us. I just don't think it's fair. I just don't think it's fair on other nations. I just feel like just chuck everyone in a pot. Let's have the draw. Andrew, yeah, mate. I think all of us will be going to that, won't we? It's going to be so good. It's going to be Euro 2028. Is going to be so good. Next World Cup is Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. Is it? Okay, that's probably more achievable then, isn't it? Why did I think Saudi Arabia? Where have I got that from? Thing is, Gary, I'm only doing Euro 28 myself because I can't afford the World Cup. But if you want to go to the World Cup, I wouldn't worry about lining FIFA's pockets, because if you don't, someone else will pay it. Yeah, good point, Ollie. It is a good point. Darius says he hopes for England, Australia, Paraguay, and Curacao, I think it is. Saudi Arabia 2034. Yeah, I knew they had one, so I was a little bit out then. I was jumping 8 years ahead. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'll bring up the groups in a set, or the pots. Sorry, not the groups. Groups haven't been drawn. I'll bring up the pots in a second, but I'll just leave this image up. Guess the player this week. Couple of people. In fact, there's only been one guess so far. I know some of you like to wait until the end to chuck your name in the hat. Only 4 years off, mate. Hopefully England gets set 2038. Yeah, look, I know for a fact. I mean, obviously, tomorrow is promised to none of us. Not to be all depressing in that, but all being well, this is a dream I will fulfill. It's just a long time to wait, isn't it? It's all about finance and viewing figures, hence the 4-seeded teams. Yeah, I just think it's a nonsense, mate, isn't it? I mean, the other thing is as well, the other thing that's been in the news this week, or in fact, probably over the last 7 or 8 days, is the Ronaldo ban, which is another example. I mean, the Ronaldo ban, the teams being separated, that were top-seeded teams, all this, and the ticket prices, all this has sort of come out over this past week, and it's just making the World Cup look embarrassing, to be honest with you. Ronaldo should be banned, full stop, because he got a red card, and that's the rules. Them's the rules. I don't care if he's never had one for Portugal before or whatever. He should be banned, because every other player would be, if they was in his position. So he should be banned. The ticket prices are a disgrace. And it's just from my perspective, it's not been a great week for the World Cup and its publicity. I'll be going Benidorm for the 2030 World Cup. You know what? I was in Benidorm this year for the first time. Absolutely loved it. Thought I'd try it out. Absolutely loved it. And I did think then, you know what, on the strip, watching England at a World Cup there would be absolutely elite. It would be absolute carnage. I can see myself doing that one, yeah, definitely. I only care because I'm a Birmingham City fan and our new stadium will be used. Right. I don't know if you've been on the chat before, mate. If not, welcome. If you have been, I apologise. Sometimes there's plenty of people who jump on, but welcome if not, mate. I did put on Twitter, my tweet went slightly viral actually about Birmingham City's new stadium. I think that new ground will be the best ground in the country, hands down. I love it. It's got that Midlands/Northern appeal and personality. It's respecting its heritage. It's respecting its industrial past. It's not just a soulless bowl. The capacity as well is right at the right amount. Where it's not becoming too ridiculous and, the atmosphere goes. I think it'll be absolutely unbelievable ground, mate. Do you think the fact that we are seeded will win us the World Cup, knowing that others will need to be perfect to get to the semis? No, to be honest with you, mate, I mean, it should guarantee you a simpler run up until a point. But once you're there, you're there. I mean, any team in the knockout round would be, you'd expect to be half decent, even though there's going to be a lot of chaff in the groups. You'd expect any team getting into that round of 16 or whatever would be an half decent side. And England certainly have been on the end of upsets before. The World Cup's the World Cup, mate. Never said this before, but I genuinely think we will win the World Cup. I've said it all my life, mate, and we never have. So I hope you're right. I'd rather play Spain, France, Argentina in the quarter or second round. I've said it before in this chat. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to lose a final to anybody. I genuinely don't know how I would cope if we lost a final to Argentina. Honestly, I don't know if I'd literally quit football. I don't think I'd ever get over that. I mean, for those England fans in the chat, I don't know if there's any Argentinians in the chat, actually. My analytics say I do get the odd Argentinian watching my channel. But comment, let me know. Honestly, England fans, would you genuinely get over the fact Argentina beating us in a final? I'm not saying they will. I'd back England. End of the day, if England are in a final, I'm backing them to win it. Don't matter who they are. But I honestly, it's giving me PTSD even thinking about it. Honestly, already, losing the final at home to Italy in the Euros is still something I will never get over. Like, that will cut me deep until the day I die. It's good for Birmingham, mate. They project to make, yeah, no, it'd be great, mate. You've been betted on 5 times, Gary. I'll meet you then, mate. I'm all for it. Do you think we'll ever see an England group as strong on paper as the 2014 World Cup with Italy, Uruguay and Costa Rica? Possibly not. Not with the new seedings and how expanded the tournament is now. Possibly not. You're still going to get a group of death, because even if it's not that much of a group of death now, there will be a strongest group, obviously. I don't see any group being a challenge to England based on the possibilities. I'll get it up in a second. I'm going to give you the answer to the player in a second so we can get these pots up on the screen. Awesome, Alexander Animates is saying we'll just cruise. You're saying we'll cruise, mate. Cruise to the quarterfinals. Yeah, it was, Andrew, it was good. I knocked myself out on my frame of my bedroom, on my lounge door on that game, though. When we scored at the last minute, I jumped up and smashed my head on my door frame and nearly knocked myself out. Right, so these guesses. So we've got Harry Maguire, Grealish, Ben White, Connor Cody. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I know there's a slight delay between me talking and you picking it up. So 30 seconds, a minute, and I'll put the answer up on the screen. It's not Trent or Sancho. I was waiting for the comments. Dele Alli, Grealish. 924, welcome. Foden, Sancho. I guarantee you now it is not Ali. It is not Sancho. It's not Trent. I'm only pausing. Right. I've given everyone a fair warning and waited for the chat to catch up. So the answer is, drum roll. I need a prize though now, something. It's not Eske. There we go. Jack Grealish. Well done to those who put Jack Grealish. I think a couple of people come in. Dom, well done. Andrew Joyce, well done. Yeah, well done. I genuinely had to blur that out a little bit more than what I usually do because his bloody hair gives it away, doesn't it? And any sort of headband. I did have it like slightly blurred and it was just like, it's obvious it's him. So I did need to blur it out a little bit more. So, well done to those who got Jack Grealish. Let me now get the pots on the screen. Back on the screen. I know you can still see his hair. Right, so, obviously pot one. Everyone in pot one, those that were here last week, I know we've been through this, but let's go through it again. Let's have a look in terms of... I think I did pick my group of death potential from last week, and I think now, is it right in that we can't also draw a winning team from the qualification campaign from Europe, so we can't draw Scotland, for example. I'm pretty sure I've read or heard that. I think that's right. So we can't draw anybody in pot 1. That is the one guarantee that, can't happen. There is a simulator. I'm going to give a shout out, actually. So let me get this up. The reason why I haven't done one on a video or anything like that is because the web page it's linked with isn't that great. But it works. Stuart Franklin, I don't know if he's in here under a particular name. He sent me through a draw simulator for the 2026 World Cup draw. Let me do one now, actually. So here it is. Let me zoom out. There it is. Let me do one for us, and I'll see what comes up. So we want the World Cup, don't we? World Cup draw simulator. Start now. Oh, hang on. There we go. Start draw. No, go back. Oh, it's a really dodgy website where there's like loads of adverts coming up. But it did work. It did work. Let me do a draw simulator. Come on. Oh, so I think it is doing it. It is doing the draw now. So I don't know if you can or can't see on here. It is literally populating which group we will be in alongside the other team. So it's just joined the pot 1, so nothing exciting for me to tell you at the minute. But let's see what the simulator gives us, shall we? I'll put it in the chat, mate, after this. So according to the simulator, England have been drawn in Group L. So now it'll go through pot 2s, and this is where obviously it will work out in terms of who can't be drawn against who. I'll let it do its thing. There's no point in me going through this as it keeps going along. Already some interesting prospects, actually. Where is it? So it's on to Group E at the minute. For some reason it seems to have paused. I don't know what it's doing. It was going through the motions and then seems to have stopped. Oh, no, he's carrying on. So, the first team that England have got on the simulator is, because we're Group L, it's taken ages to get to the bottom. Is Austria. So, according to the simulator, we have drawn Austria from pot 2. I'll go through it all. I'll leave it. I'll let it run. I'll let it run. Otherwise, you guys are just going to be sat there watching me on my phone. Hello, Multiburger. I couldn't see the group of death. Germany, Uruguay, Norway, Ghana. Let's have a look at if there is a group of death that's drawn on this in a moment. Oh, God, it's quite interesting, this, actually. It is very, very interesting. Right, it's done it. So, the simulator that I have just done, we'll run it twice and see if the same team sort of comes up, because then it may break down in terms of the ruling and how it all works, that we're far more likely to actually draw certain teams than others. So, on the simulator, it's got Mexico, Croatia, Paraguay in Group A, and then it'll either be Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, or I'm not sure who else in Group A, so the European playoff. Group B is Canada, Colombia, Tunisia, and New Zealand. Group C is Spain, Ecuador, Panama, and Jordan. Group D is USA, Morocco, Uzbekistan, and then it will either be Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, or somebody else. Group E is France, Australia, Ivory Coast, and Curacao. Group F is Netherlands, Senegal, Norway, then it'll either be Iraq or Suriname. In Group F. Group G is Argentina, Switzerland, South Africa, and Haiti. I think you can already tell from these groups that the top seeds are likely to get a very easy group. Group H is Belgium, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and then it could be Jamaica in the playoffs from there. Group I is Brazil, Japan, Egypt, then it could either be Denmark, Ireland, Czech Republic, or Macedonia. That probably would be the group of death so far. Brazil, Japan, Egypt, and then a Denmark or Czech Republic or Ireland. That would be a tough group. Group J is Portugal, Iran, Scotland and Ghana. Tough group for Scotland, that. Group K is Germany, South Korea, Algeria, and then it'll either be Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, or Albania. And then Group L, which is England's, would be, according to this simulator, is Austria, Qatar, and Cape Verde. I'd have that. I would absolutely have that group. Yeah. I mean, so in that group, Austria, Qatar, and Cape Verde were drawn. So obviously it comes into the fact that we drew Austria in that first group from pot 2 as the European team, which meant we couldn't draw a European team in pot 3 or 4. So I'd take that. Let's do it again. Let me run it again. Let's reset. And then let's run it again. And if we get the same team again, then it's probably likely that we're going to get that team because of the way the draw works and the way we can't be drawn against certain other teams, etc., etc. So come on, start the draw. Is it doing it? There we go. Right, it's doing it. So this time, England as top seeds are drawn in group. We were Group L last time. I'm still not out yet. We're Group J this time. So let's see if this changes things. The playoffs in Europe. I mean, I think one thing, I think a lot of us have said, we don't want a... well, I don't. I don't want someone who's still got to qualify. I want to know what our group is after Friday. I don't want to be waiting until bloody March, April next year to figure out who our final team is. We had that at the last World Cup, if you remember. It's going through the draw now. Who's England going to get here? Oh, already this is looking like a tougher group. I'm not convinced Italy will qualify either. I remember the draw for the 2014 World Cup. BBC commentators getting overexcited when we got Italy, Uruguay and Costa Rica. Everyone discounted Costa Rica where they won the bloody group, didn't they? So, I mean, last time out, there did appear to be a group of death, and I think that was Brazil, Japan, Egypt, and then was it Denmark and potentially somebody else. So there was a group of death that actually was drawn the last time out here. But let's have another look. It is ticking towards the end. The third team has been drawn in every pot. Already, England have drawn different teams from last time. So there is some variation there that can be had. Interesting. The playoff should be before the draw. I agree, mate. I 100% agree. 100% I agree. It's so annoying that we don't know who we've got. If England have Scotland in the groups, I can see it on no draw. I don't think we can. I think that's one of the things, again, that's come out where group winners of the European competition qualifiers can't be drawn in the same group. Pretty sure that's a thing. I could be wrong there. What's this doing? Is it doing it? Is it paused? Let me pause and resume it. That worked last time. It's not the most... It is a little bit temperamental, this draw, so I am having to fiddle with it. Three of the teams have been drawn in each group, but it doesn't seem to be wanting me to give pot 4 for some unknown reason. Oh, is it saying they've already been drawn? Well, they're not on there. I might have to do this again, guys. God's sake. Right. Second time lucky. Right, it's doing its thing. Oh no, not Scotland or home nations. Imagine if they beat us at a tournament. They won't. Scotland won't beat us, mate. The thing is, though, is England do have a record of not playing that well against home nations at tournaments. And I know we did beat Wales 3-0, but we struggled last time against the Welsh and certainly struggled against Scotland in the Euros. That's been discounted now, Gary. Group winners can get each other. Oh, good. That's good, mate. I did hear that. I can see FIFA telling the big teams... to keep the scores down to 4-0 if they dominate Curacao, ready to avoid bringing the World Cup into disrepute. Well, they might tell them that, mate, but I doubt they'll listen. This time, England are in Group I. Right, interestingly, this is now the third time. I know I didn't give you the results of the second time, but we have now drawn the same pot 2 team twice out of those 3 draws, and I'll tell you who that is in a second. So maybe, depending on where we come out in the pots, we seem to be drawn in the lower end of the groups on this, but depending on where we come out in the pots, it does seem likely that we may actually get this team. this is looking a much tougher group potentially for England. I'm not going to lie. Hopefully this draws the bloody pot 4 teams this time. It has. Oh, it's going to at the moment. Right, so it is completed again. Let's go over the group this time. And again, England haven't got a playoff team, which is interesting. So Group A this time around is Mexico, Croatia, South Africa, and then Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, etc. And the playoff, tough group actually. Mexico, Croatia, then maybe the Italians, or, well, that's a tough group. Group B is Canada, Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, and Cape Verde. I think Canada would absolutely rip your hand off for that. Germany, Senegal, Scotland, and then Iraq, Bolivia, and Suriname in Group C as the playoffs. Group D is USA, Switzerland, Uzbekistan, Turkey, Romania, Kosovo, the playoffs. So not a bad group for the US. Group E would be Spain, Iran, Algeria, and Haiti. Spain would absolutely destroy that group. Group F would be France, Japan, Panama, and then either Denmark, Czech Republic, Ireland, or Macedonia. Could be quite a good group. Group G, now, right, hang on. This is definitely a group of death. Group G on this draw is Portugal, Uruguay, Norway, and Ghana. That is a group. And that is a potential group England could get. Obviously not Portugal, but Uruguay, Norway, and Ghana. That's a tough group. That is a tough group. Group H, Netherlands, Morocco, Qatar, and New Zealand. And then Group I this time around is England, Colombia, who we actually drew in the second round, but it just didn't finish. Tunisia and Jordan. So again, you take that. Tunisia again, though, it would be a repeat of that game at a World Cup, and of course Colombia. That would be an interesting group. And then Group J would be Argentina, South Korea, Ivory Coast, and Curacao. Group K, Belgium, Austria, Paraguay, and then playoff. And then Group L would be Brazil, Australia, Egypt, and then the European playoff. Really good. I'm going to do it third time and then see. We might get a theme then going through. But England haven't done too bad there. But that Uruguay group was potentially that's a real tough potential group, isn't it, for England there? It's Norway in that third pot that could really throw a spanner in the works. If you get a tough team in pot 2 that isn't European, it could really mess things up. Let me go to the chat. I like how Ecuador kept the score down to 2-0 versus Qatar 3 years ago. Group I for I am going to beat you. Would people watch a so-called 16-team global cup breakaway of Brazil, Argentina, and the big Euro side over a World Cup with the big names? I think they would, wouldn't they? Gary, are you still doing a live stream on Friday for the draw? 100%, Charlie. So everybody who's on, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Friday after work, I'll be coming straight home, doing a live stream for the draw, and I'll react live. And I want you guys on. Let's get as many of us on here as we can. Those that are just joining me now, I'm on a simulator. We've simulated it 2 or 3 times, and England have ended up with quite a good draw, actually. But I'll see if we get this third time round. In our group, I feel we need one big dog. Ideally, for second match, we must be tested. Other teams, one okay, the other crap. I am from the Netherlands, says Helena Longo. Welcome to the chat. And I noticed that the Netherlands is underestimated by many people. I think the Netherlands is a pretty good team. No, I'd agree. I think the Netherlands are a good team. Definitely a good team. And I think they've got a good chance of doing well in this tournament. I don't think they'll win it. I don't think they're one of the favourites to win it, but I'm certainly not underestimating the Netherlands at all. Dom, Portugal, Uruguay, and Ghana were drawn together at the previous tournament. It would be a tough group, that would. How long do you think the opening ceremony will be? About 17 hours long, Charlie. If you've ever watched a FIFA ceremony, mate, it will go on. It will go on for longer than time. How long do you... Memphis Depay is Netherlands all-time top scorer. He's a good player, mate. Netherlands are strong in midfield at the back, but poor up top. I can't wait for the final draw on December the 5th in Washington. Good evening, says Matt's Attack. Good evening. I'm just looking at this. The third... Well, technically the fourth, but the third time I've run this group, this simulator now has been completed. And again, England have been drawn in Group L. I think this is another potential tough group, a really, really tough group for England here. So it's completed again. Let me go over it with you. The third simulation I've done is Mexico, Austria, Uzbekistan, and New Zealand. Group B is Canada, Colombia, Saudi Arabia, and Denmark playoffs, whatever. Group C is Brazil, Croatia, Algeria, then the European playoff of Turkey, etc. Group D is, this is a tough one for the US if they get this, is Uruguay, Norway, Cape Verde, though, you'd expect them to beat them. Group E would be France, Iran, Paraguay, and then a playoff. Group F would be Netherlands, South Korea, Scotland, and Ghana. Tough group, that is. Netherlands, South Korea, Scotland, and Ghana. I think that's a solid group. Group G would be Belgium, Senegal, Qatar, and Curacao. Group H would be Argentina, Australia, South Africa, and then the European playoff. Group I, this is a tough group for Spain, is Spain, Switzerland, Egypt, and then Iraq, Bolivia, and Suriname. Group J is Portugal, Ecuador, Tunisia, and Jordan. Group K is Germany, Morocco, Panama, and then the European playoff of Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, or whatever. And then Group L is England, Japan, Ivory Coast, and Haiti. So, again, not a really, really tough group, but same time, there's some teams in there to be worried about. At the end of the day, we've done this now. I've simulated this now like 3 or 4 times. There's no traditional, proper solid group of death where every single team could likely go through. I think those days are gone. There are going to be some tough teams in there, though. There are going to be some potential tough groups. Tokolika says the African Cup is 10 times harder than the World Cup. It is being held in the winter by football. It's definitely not harder. The times of the games will be interesting, absolutely. Paco had a better hope for good for Netherlands. Don't get me wrong, I rated Netherlands highly between 2004. USA smashed Uruguay the way they did, actually. Gary, my sleep pattern is going to be all over the place. Mine is as well, mate. I'm going to try and watch every game, but there's no chance. Hopefully we get Antarctica, says Ricky. Dom, Van der Vaart, Schneider, Van Persie, and Van Nistelrooy, etc. Our defence is very strong. Van Dijk, Timber. Yeah, I know what you mean. Right, guys, just 2 secs. I just need a drink. I'm going to go and get a drink, and I'll have a look at this simulation in more detail. I think the key, I know I've just randomly come back here, but that's so much better. I think the key is avoiding a top non-European team in that pot 2. And the reason why is because if we draw a good non-European team in pot 2, so maybe Morocco, Colombia, Uruguay, Japan, Senegal, any one of those, then it leaves us also then open to get Norway in pot 3 and then like a Ghana or someone in pot 4. So I think depending on who that pot 2 team is for us, it really does leave us open to a potential group of death. I hope, don't get me wrong, AFCON is competitive, but it will never match the World Cup pure quality. I think a Netherlands semi, Argentina, Morocco, Norway, Italy, nasty group, definitely, mate. Let me simulate it again because this is quite fun actually. But honestly, a lot is on that pot 2, I think, because ideally I would like us to draw maybe Switzerland, Austria, one of those 2 European teams, or Croatia even, in pot 2, because then I think it opens up a much easier draw for pot 3 and pot 4. That's my reading of this at the minute. Because because there is a potential to get a Morocco, a Uruguay, and then a Norway, and then I think Norway in pot 3 is the one I keep coming back to. We want to avoid them in pot 3. I'm not saying I'm worried about them, but they could overcomplicate things for a World Cup group stage. Really, I'm simulating it again to see what it comes up with. Hopefully, we don't get a Carabao Cup draw simulation when Charlton somehow get pulled out of the hat twice. Well, to be honest with you, they've simulated it numerous times, haven't they? And everyone gets carried away about what the simulations do, which is what we're doing now, by the way. But I need to go this way, don't I? I just realised I'm getting behind the graphic there. I expect kickoff times to be 5-8, and yeah, they'll be all over the place. Much better connection this week, Gary. Brilliant. I don't know why it was so bad last week, but I'm glad it's better this week. Just so you know, top number, got quite a lot of people watching at the minute, so if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. This is an England fan channel. You do not have to be an England fan though to be here. This is about the World Cup. I want everybody subscribing, join the conversation, join the chat. I will be live streaming next week, and I'll be dropping videos up until the World Cup and beyond, so please hit that subscribe button if you are interested in international football, because there are not many of us out there. Loads of club channels, hardly any international channels, so hit that subscribe button and just help me out. It gives me motivation. That's all it does. It's completely free. Top content as always. In your honest opinion, how far do you think England will go in the World Cup realistically? I think realistically we can expect, no matter what happens, realistically a semi-final. Genuinely, with the quality we've got, and now the fact that they're looking at segregating those top 4 nations up until the semi-finals, semi-final has got to be the minimum. Has to be the minimum for me. I mean, if you're Thomas Tuchel and you've heard that, you're absolutely rubbing your hands, aren't you? Because outside of those nations, let's be honest, England should be able to beat any of them. I'm not saying easily, but we would be favourites to beat any other team. England should fear nobody in the early stages. They should fear the best England squad ever with German mentality. Lucky manager. Rod Stewart should be in the draw drunk again. When was that? I still rate 1960s England World Cup squads as the best ever. Gary, no matter who we get, honestly, how come the World Cup the players will go up a gear? I hope they do, mate. Darius, goodbye. I don't know if you're just saying randomly goodbye, but goodbye, mate. I think there is a World Championship that no one expects. I don't know why. Feeling. Helena, I think something will happen because there's too many teams for something wild to not happen now, and that's ultimately what FIFA needs as well. They don't want to see all these teams that usually wouldn't qualify going there and getting a hide-in. There's going to be the odd upset. Of course there is. I don't think there's going to be upsets in the group stages. I don't think any top team that you would expect to go through will fail to go through. I really don't. I think they'll all go through. It's done that thing again where it's not picked bloody pot 4. But you're right. I mean, this is why we all love football, though, because anything can absolutely happen in football. Absolutely anything. No one had Saudi Arabia to beat Argentina in the last World Cup, for example. So anything can happen. That's why football is so exciting. I just don't expect any top team to go out in the group stage early. I would enforce player caps and academy player quotas at club level, not to improve England national team or Prem, but to improve club football excitement and closeness. I agree. He did the Scottish Cup draw in 2016. Did he really? Was he drunk? Or is that because? Let's be real. When you see him now, he often looks drunk, but in reality, he's just being him. Judging what FIFA have done and seeding the top 4 teams, do you expect the FA to give Tuchel a new contract if we reach semis? Probably, but I'd rather we didn't. I can't believe, look at the time. We've been on 45 minutes already. This is mad timing. Let me do this one more time. I've already done it twice, but for some reason it doesn't draw the 4th pot for some reason. This time, England, again, in Group L. I don't know what it is about this system, but it always draws us at the bottom end. So maybe that's something to say, Jesus Christ, this is already looking way tougher. Potentially. In fact, we've just drawn a European team in pot 2, so maybe not. I cannot wait for Friday. Finally, we can actually plan what the hell is going off. What the hell is going off in terms of this World Cup? If you're only just joining the live stream, by the way, watch back my first part of this, because one, you've got guess the player, and also my little rant about the FIFA pricing of this tournament, which is an absolute disgrace, but it is what it is. If Morocco had played England instead of France at World Cup 2022, Morocco would be World Cup champions. Why would you say that? I don't think so. Right, it's done it this time. So let me go over the fourth and final simulation. England have had relatively... Right, there's a team we keep drawing. There is a team we keep drawing here, so maybe the writing's on the wall here if we draw a European nation in pot 2. But it does sort of open it up. It's really bizarre. Right, this is the first time as well we've actually been given a playoff. So Group A this time around is Mexico, Japan, Algeria, and then the European playoff of Turkey, Romania, Slovakia and Kosovo. Group B is Canada, Australia, South Africa, and then the European qualification of Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, Albania. Group C is Spain, Uruguay, Uzbekistan, and Cape Verde. Group D is South Korea, Ivory Coast, and then Denmark, Macedonia, Czech Republic, or Ireland, the European playoff. Excuse me. A couple of times I would say USA has had the tougher of the host nations draws there. Group E is Germany, Iran, Paraguay, Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, and whoever that fourth team is for the playoff. Group F is Brazil, Austria, Panama, and Ghana. Group G would be Belgium, Switzerland, Qatar, and Curacao. Group H is Portugal, Senegal, Saudi Arabia, and Haiti. Group I is Netherlands, Ecuador, Egypt, and New Zealand. Group J is Argentina, Morocco, and Scotland and Jordan. I think that's the second time or third time England have been drawn with Scotland. Group K is France. This is probably, again, the toughest group. France, Colombia, Norway. So if you're drawing, you can see the difference here. Every single time I'm pulling out a Morocco, a Colombia, Uruguay, or a Senegal, if Norway's in the same group as one of them, that becomes instantly the group of death. I promise you, whoever gets Norway in pot 3, depending on who that top seed has got in pot 2, that is the group of death. And group L in this one is England, Croatia, Tunisia again, and then it would be Iraq, Bolivia, or Suriname in the playoff spot. So quite a mixed group there for England. I would expect England to beat Tunisia and Croatia, but I don't think in any single one of those draws there's been a group there that England would fear in any way, shape or form. I'm adamant now it's all in that pot 2. For a European team, if we do not draw, whoever draws Norway from pot 3, that's the group of death. Almost certain, unless there's a real poor team in that pot 2. That is the group of death there for me. I look like Jordan Pickford. No one's ever told me that before. And I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Really enjoying your channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you, mate. Really enjoy having you. It's so good at the minute. The channel is... I'm loving the interaction. And that's what I did it for. Go back to time and time again. Some of you have been here before. I did this because no one else was doing it. I love English football. I love international football. Go and find another channel now who's doing a live stream about the World Cup draw next week. Not a single one, and that's why I did it, because I wanted to speak to people about it. I wanted to keep talking about it, and no one else was. So, glad you're all here. When I've done my mock draws, Netherlands and Morocco have been paired in the same group. Whatever the opening game is, do you think it will be a good one? I think, yeah. The opening game, no matter who it is always the best. And I'm on about the opening game of the whole tournament and England's opening game. Tunisia are good. Cinema against Brazil. Oi, pickers. Norway, pot 3, looks stronger than all the other Euro teams in pot 2 and 4, even more than Italy and Turkey if they qualify. Absolutely. I'm adamant Norway holds the key to the group of death. Norway are definitely holding the key. Because England is a passionate football nation, Gary, no one has our passion. Well, I agree. Honestly, I mean, Egypt, probably the only other team really I'm bothered about in that pot 3 is maybe Egypt. But that's it, honestly. That pot 3 Norway, I'm calling it now. Whoever Norway get, whichever group Norway go into, that's the group of death. Yeah, probably, mate. There might be 2 or 3, but I think there were definitely 2. You think Tunisia will win the AFCON? Maybe. I don't know. I see Norway as by far the strongest team in pot 3. I really do. Really, really do. Honestly, we are now less than 7 days away. So if you're new in here, hit that subscribe button. I am going to drop, just for those that are joining a little bit later, I will be dropping my England starting 11 video early this week, probably tomorrow or the day after, ahead of that draw, because I also want to do that same video again in 6, 7, 8 months' time just before the World Cup and see if it changes. And I think me putting my World Cup squad out there before the draw is a real good build up to the draw this week. I may or may not do another World Cup draw potential video with the simulator. Let's see. It's all on time. If I wasn't at work, I'd be knocking them out left, right and centre. But yeah, it's difficult. If Morocco was in Europe, Morocco would have won the Euro FIFA Cup. Spain and Italy are easy teams. Tokul Ticker, I think you've got to be trolling, mate. AFCON is almost a lottery. Don't use it as a form guide for the Africans in the World Cup. Even Egypt, they have a weak midfield. We're going to be watching England game at 0000 hours in the morning, and we're going to have to be getting... honestly, everyone, we're going to have to be booking time off work, pulling sickies and all sorts. Remember, or just going to work and school incredibly late and absolutely shattered. I mean, if England are playing at 1 o'clock in the morning, I ain't missing it. You know, I'm watching it. It's as simple as that. Remember the opening of the World Cup 2022 Qatar game, which was awful. I remember England's game of the opening of that tournament. It was absolutely tremendous. I remember 2014 thinking it was in pot 3 and the group we got was horrible. And 3 World Cups later, we are top 4 seeding. It's mad how times changed. We've definitely made a step up, mate. Brazil are looking more dangerous, especially with a certain Chelsea player in form. Yeah, they are looking more dangerous. I fancy Germany to really come good. I mean, history tells you never to underestimate them, mate. AFCON during Christmas is strange. Ecuador went 2-0 up and then shut up shop at half time. I mean, I genuinely can't see England getting a really, really tough group. I can see England getting a tough group, but not a really, really any sort of group that's going to put us at any risk of not qualifying from the group stage. Remember, I'm pretty sure that there is a number of teams who finish in 3rd place in their group who may still also progress. It's just going to be... I mean, I've done the simulation 4 times. I think we drew Colombia twice and Tunisia twice. What that tells you, I don't know. But maybe that is something that... You know what? Maybe we should have a look back on this on Friday. In fact, what I'll do is I'll pull out the groups that this simulator did for Friday and see how close we actually get. I'm happy as long as Scotland embarrasses themselves. I mean, now if that rule is in place where you can actually get the group winners, I would love Scotland in the group stages. I would. I mean, why wouldn't I? Because I think we'd comfortably beat them. As much as sometimes they turn up a little bit better than what we do on these occasions, I'd love Scotland in the group stage. Helena, do you think the Netherlands is an average team? Why does everyone consider the Netherlands a small team? We are just among the top 10 in the world. No, I consider Netherlands a top team. I consider them a quarter-final, maybe a semi-final team at a push. I don't think they're as good as us. I don't think they're as good as Portugal. I don't think they're as good as France. I don't think they're as good as Brazil or Argentina. I think they probably sit in that next bracket. They won't beat us, more you bet. They won't. Yeah, I know it would. I think I'll be honest with you. I just want to avoid. The only thing I'm going to put on this channel now is that I want to avoid Norway in pot 3. That is the only team I want us to avoid. Anybody else, bring it on, because I think it gives us a relatively sensible draw. The problem is who we get in pot 2, because pot 2's drawn first. Pot 2 will decide whether we've got any chance of getting Scotland or not. Because if we draw a European team in pot 2, we've got no chance of getting Scotland. Scotland beat us 0-0. Euro 2028 is the best chance of a trophy with home advantage and Tuchel in charge. Let's see. A part of me wants to see a semi-finals full of underdogs. Japan to annoy FIFA and Infantino and make the 48 team format a grand failure. If we get Panama and Curacao, expected to score about 24 goals over both games. I mean, we can only get one or the other. Where's Panama? Oh no, Panama isn't pot 3, so we could get Panama and Could we get them both? I don't know if we could. I think we probably could actually, couldn't we? Evening, Russell. I've not got long left, mate. We've been doing some simulated draws. Quite interesting. For those that are joining, the simulation, it does 100% appear like pot three. If we get Norway. So if we do not draw a European team in pot 2, put it this way. Let me put it this way. If we draw a European team in pot 2, we are more or less guaranteed an easier group because we then can't draw the strongest European teams in pot 3 and pot 4. If we draw a non-European group in pot 2, so one of the toughest teams outside of the top seeds that aren't European, then we could end up with a very, very difficult World Cup group, because if we get, let's say, a Senegal or a Morocco or a Colombia or Uruguay, and then a Norway potentially in a pot 3, and then whoever else, a Ghana or something in pot 4, that could be a really, really tough group for us. So it's good, honestly. Yeah, I didn't think we could draw them both, Alan. Netherlands will likely go out at the round of 16 unless they don't win their group, maybe round of 16 then. Round of 32. Shout, let it all out. Come on, England. Well, I mean, I wish I could play songs, because I'd love to do like a little thing on English songs, but I know someone, I think, is it you, Alan? Someone sent me a World Cup song to play, but it was literally about slating England, so I couldn't use it. I don't want to use a song that's literally slagging us off. What time's the draw? I think it's about 4 or 5. Whenever it says it is, mate, just get on after school or work, and I'll be live streaming. If FIFA is saying that the draw's at 6, that means they'll pull the first ball at 10 to midnight, because they'll faff about. Morocco will win the World Cup like they just won the Under-20 World Cup last month. None of the 6 confirmed pot 4 sides are European or UEFA. There's 4 European playoffs. I'm not bothered who we get. Bring it on, says Nozza. Could potentially be tough then, or we could still play nobody until quarters. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it is. I think no matter which group now, whichever group draws Norway from pot 3 is the toughest group in that tournament. Comfortably. Yeah, honestly, if it says it starts at 5, it'll be on for ages. I mean, we'll have a deadline to get it done, but FIFA will faff about, and we are going to have to go in and bear Donald Trump, I'm afraid. And I know there's possibly some Donald Trump fans in the chat. I ain't one of them, but I'm not getting into politics, but it will be the Donald Trump show for a number of minutes. But we'll get through that, and then hopefully we'll get to the real stuff. I would honestly love Scotland. And I know a lot of English fans wouldn't, but bring it on. Whatever it's on, bang it on, and we'll all watch it together. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. And then we can start getting some. I can start reaching out to some of the. I mean, I knew you'd say that, Russell. I knew you wouldn't want the Scots. I'm then going to start. I mean, I want nations that actually have some fans, and I don't mean no disrespect here. So I wouldn't be a big fan if we got like Panama or Cape Verde or something, because who am I going to bring on the channel for that? How many Cape Verdean YouTubers do you know, or content creators? I mean, I could be completely wrong there, but I want a fan base with a bit of meat to it, so I can actually like reach out to some people and plan some good stuff. If we can't beat Norway, what chance of winning the World Cup? No, you're right. You are right, but I'd just rather look. I don't think the World Cup was going to be complicated, but I'd rather it not be overcomplicated for the sake of it being overcomplicated. Let's just have a relatively simple group. Of course, you can't avoid any half decent team. We're going to get an half decent team in there, but let's just guarantee ourselves at least 6 points, get through, and then worry about the group stages. They will, mate. Honestly, it's going to be a joke. This World Cup's going to be a joke from a fan's perspective. The cost is going to be outrageous. Right, it's coming up to the hour. And again, I apologise for starting an hour earlier this evening, but like I said at the start, I've got a chicken in the oven that I need to go out and carve. hence why I'm going on the hour. Listen, I hope you all have a great week. Again, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I will be dropping a video Monday and or Tuesday. I may do 2 videos for the draw, may not. Depends how I get on, but certainly one video will be coming early next week. And then I will see you on Friday after school work. Let's bring it on. Cannot wait. England are finally going to find out who we've got in our World Cup group and everyone else. And it's going to feel a lot more real then, isn't it? So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a great week at school, work, whatever it is you're doing. Tomorrow is December the 1st, so Merry Christmas from tomorrow. Christmas starts in December. I don't care who's on the here. Let's all celebrate that. You will see in my videos. I might get some decks up as well. I've had some lights up before. Russell, mate, quick plug, pod with you on is out tomorrow. Brilliant. So if anyone doesn't know, Russell Osborne, 3 Lions podcast, search for it on Spotify and all your other usual podcast providers. 3 Lions podcast, he covers all things England like myself, but from a podcast perspective. Check him out. His pod is dropping tomorrow. Yep. Hope you all have a great week, and I will see you all on my next video. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.